once looked for God in all of the wrong places.
And in a lot of ways, his journey is the opposite from my character in Star Wars. You know, he's going in the other direction. I'd spent, 5 years of my life on those movies. And it was a big commitment and a big part of my life. I like to experience what my character is going through, and if he's going through some physically challenging things, I like to try to put myself through those same things.
在《星球大战前传》系列电影中，亦正亦邪的天行者阿纳金让无数影迷为之倾倒，也让加拿大美少年海登·克里斯滕森一夜间人气暴涨。如今，33岁的海登已成长为一代好莱坞型男，也依照自己的慢节奏推出新作。在9月26号上映的中美合拍片《绝命逃亡》中，海登与偶像尼古拉斯·凯奇合作，饰演流落中国的十字东征军。这也是他首次来到中国拍摄电影。来华宣传的海登在时光网独家专访中透露，这部充满新鲜元素的影片也让他时刻面临挑战。
Well, there was a lot that was very attractive about this project. I was really interested in the story, the whole world that the movie was set in. I thought was just really intriguing. These two knights from the Crusades who are fighting in Europe, who wander east to Asia and end up in China to get as far away from the war as possible. I just thought was an interesting premise. He's got a bit of a dark side to him, but he's struggling with it. He's not indulging in it. When we first meet him at the beginning of the movie, he's fighting in these religious crusades, doing a lot of terrible things, and the movie for him is really about redemption and trying to right the wrongs that he's done. And so his journey is getting away from sort of the darker aspects of what he's done in his life. But yeah, no, he's a complex, conflicted character.
I swore an oath to your father.
My father's dead. You're released of your oath. I release you.
I like to play characters that have qualities that are different from my own, so I can really feel like I'm having to transform myself to play the role. But I don't know, I have a bit of an interest in it, and I think it reflects sort of life in some ways, and sort of, understanding and exploring the darker sides of life. Although I really tried to stay away from those similarities as much as possible. I wanted to make this character different. So, and in a lot of ways his journey is the opposite from my character in Star Wars. He's going in the other direction. But no, I think audiences will be able to see, some parallels there. I was doing a stunt, and I had to fall onto the ground, and I was wearing chainmail. It was a part of my costume. I'm playing a knight from the Crusades at that point in the movie, and it was just a lot of weight added to the costume, and I fell a little awkward and landed on my shoulder, and I tore a ligament in my shoulder, and I had to stop for a little bit to let it heal. I had to rest for almost a month to let it heal. I couldn't move my arm at all, and a lot of the stuff I'm doing in this movie is sword fighting and a lot of action fighting stuff. So I needed to be able to have mobility in my shoulder. So that was disappointing when I couldn't keep working, but we came back, we just finished it, and well, I do use this. I have a stuntman, and he did do a lot of stuff for me, but you know, I care very much about my work, and I like to try to do as much of it myself as possible, and I like to experience what my character is going through, and if he's going through some physically challenging things, I like to try to put myself through those same things. Sometimes I pay the price for it, but at least I know it's me doing it, you know? I first met him on this movie. I hadn't met him before, and it was thrilling, actually. I was a big fan of his before, bigger fan of his now, and I don't know, I was a little starstruck, to be honest. He's extremely generous, very nice, incredibly impressive person, very professional. You know, he came to set, knew all of his lines for the entire movie before we even started. He's an incredible actor, and it was a privilege to get to work with him. I always try to learn from the people I'm working with, and I definitely learned a lot from him. You know, he's such a committed actor. You know, for like the first week at least, he never broke character. Every time I saw him, he was fully in character, you know, doing his English accent, and in the movie he's got a wound over his eye, so he has one eye shut, and never saw him with that eye open. So he was in character all the time, and it was cool to be around. I had an idea of, you know, sort of the scope of China and how big it was, and you know, how big the cities are. But I didn't really have a sense of the culture or the people, and that was, you know, a really nice education for me. Was getting to you know, become friends with some of the people from the crew, and get to see Beijing and some of the surrounding areas. You know, we filmed in some spectacular locations. But you know, this is just sort of the beginning of my education. You know, I want to come back more and travel China and see more of the country. I just really like my Kung Pao chicken. I really like hot pot. I've gone out for hot pot a few times. That's fun. Enjoy that. Peking duck, yeah, very good. I like that a lot. Yeah, I enjoyed the cuisine here. You know, it's not completely new to me though. You know, I grew up in Toronto, a very multicultural city. You know, the high school I went to was actually predominantly Asian. So, you know, I was exposed to your cuisine at a young age. I mean, I'd spent, you know, 5 years of my life on that movie, on those movies, and it was a big commitment and a big part of my life. So, you know, on any film, after you finish it, there's sort of a bittersweet feeling to it. You know, you have this good sense of accomplishment, but at the same time, you're leaving something that you've been very closely connected to for a while, and the people that you work with become a bit of a family, and so yeah, it was a sad moment to say goodbye, but you know, I kept in touch with a lot of the people, and still have some good relationships from that movie. You know, I think it's remarkable what George Lucas did in selling the franchise to Disney and donating all that money to charity. I think it's one of the most charitable acts an artist has ever made. So it's pretty amazing. It's pretty cool to get to be a part of that. But you know, my character died at the end of the movie, so I don't think I'll be going back to them.